on. The Dawn in the building. Please, let's do this. Jeffers, are you ready for me? Jeffers, what's going on, bro? Unmute your mic. Let me hear you so well. I can't hear you right now.
Very rainy over here in Lagos, Nigeria at the moment. But anyway, it rained scores and results over the weekend, and basically it's what we know the Premier League to be, full of excitement. As usual, the controversies will always be there, because basically once a football match without controversy. But I think we were able to point out at least we already have what it's going to look like for the season moving forward, and we already seem to have some people who might say are well prepared for the season, and some people who might say still haven't gotten their act right. And as I said last week, with what I saw of Everton on Saturday, I don't see how they are going to escape that relegation.
I'm telling you. All right, welcoming everybody onto this show. This is Jeffers. We want to quickly go into the review of the game played over the weekend. I'm talking about the game week 1. All right, it started with this club, and we are starting with this club, Manchester United. 1-0 over Fulham. The new man, the man from Holland, Zexi, scored the only goal at the encounter. Jeffers, what's your take on that game?
Yeah. Okay. For me personally, I think we saw a much more composed United performance. I think we're beginning to see signs that maybe Eric Ten Hag has finally gotten a strategy that he has on ground. But I think once again we still have the concerns about the attacking ability of United. It's still showing that it still has a lot of work to be done. I personally feel like the key thing is not even about the attack. It's just the fact that United still doesn't have that creativity in midfield that will actually create opportunities for the strikers. Because I think when you're always looking at midfielders like Bruno Fernandes going forward to actually create chances, and looking at Marcus Rashford, who basically looks like he's going to have to play on the left side of the wings, basically, for the team, then you begin to wonder where's the pivots in attack. And I would say Kegzi came in, and just when everyone was actually thinking it was going to end in a goalless draw, he came in with a goal right at the 84th minute. I would say 3 points in the bag. We weren't expecting anything different from Manchester United, but I think there's still work to be done. The transfer window still has about 2 more weeks or 10, 11 days left. Anything can happen, because I feel personally, I think United still need creative midfield.
A creative midfielder.
As for Fulham, I would say Fulham, I think they didn't have any answer in attack, in all honesty. I remember last season, Munoz ended the season in a very, very rich vein of form, but it seems he didn't come with those scoring boots to start the season. I think we saw a bit of a composed performance from Emerson Smith Rowe. I believe as long as he's fit and he keeps on playing, he will definitely be one player to actually watch out for the Fulham side. Adama Traore, we don't want to talk about Adama Traore, because Adama Traore to me is basically what you call your bison. All muscle, all speed, but as usual, when it gets to the finishing touch,
a crumble.
Let's leave it like that. I think he just has to work on his finishing, because that's the only flaw I see in his gameplay. He has his strength, he has his speed. These are things that players actually take as advantages. But when you go through all that process, you bully the defenders, you bamboozle your way into the 18, and then when you come to your finishing touch, there's nothing to write him about. That means obviously, I think it's best if you just do more or less of creating chances for someone else to finish. But I think Fulham gave a very good account of themselves, but unfortunately, the result was going to go in United's way, and that was exactly happened.
All right, thank you so much on that one. Let's move straight to this next game. That's Ipswich versus Liverpool, that ended in 2-0 in favor of Liverpool. Salah scored in that game.
Okay, all right. Salah scored. Anyway, you won't be surprised. It seems to have made it a habit. He always scores. That is basically the ninth consecutive season that Salah has scored in the opening game of the
Fantastic.
season. That shows you how fantastic he is as a player, and definitely everything that Liverpool are going to do moving forward this season, you know
Hmm.
that definitely Mo Salah will have a role to play. Um, I think Ipswich gave a good account of themselves, even though
Yeah,
we knew that yes,
yeah, they
it was
did.
always going to be one way in which the result was going to go, and definitely it wasn't going to be on their side. They gave a good account of themselves. I saw outstanding performances from the Ipswich players. I think it's just the first game of the season. The advantage they will have is the fact that aside the top six, I think every other person looks like a worthy opponent that they can actually score up against. Although one thing I've realized with this is that it's going to have to get rough before it gets easy, because at least they were able to at least manage it that it wasn't the scoreline of the last time they met Liverpool, which
Yeah,
ended 6
6.
32 years ago. This time it was just 2. They were able to withstand Liverpool and reduce them to chances until finally Liverpool broke free in the late in the first half. And we knew that definitely once that happened, it's not go one way. Then Liverpool, outstanding performance. And Slot already has something that he's trying to work with. I think for now, I don't think maybe he might not go to the transfer window, because I don't even think Liverpool board, FSG actually are looking like they want to get in anyone at the meantime. I think they want to let the coach take his time, look at what he has on the ground, and then try and build a strategy. Then if it doesn't work out fine, then you might say, okay, possibly by January at the earliest, they might want to go for maybe someone, or they'll just rather wait to the end of the season to get somebody. But it was a outstanding performance. Salah, as usual, gave his usual best. The Jota, as usual, always someone who is very, very hard to actually handle in the 18. And I think he showed his slyness in the 18 there. I think there were outstanding performances, and I don't expect anything to change. As for Ipswich Town, I think well, they've already gotten a baptism of fire that yes, this is the Premier League. It's a different ball game. I wonder how they will cope for their next opponent, because believe you me,
Hmm.
it's the champions coming up next.
I'm telling you.
So
I am
I
telling
don't know how
you.
they're going to cope, but I think if they can just reduce City, I think they just have to play a 12-1 that day. Everyone stays in the back. Just give one person in the midfield who can float again if they want to get to because City will bombard them, especially with where we are looking at where Rodri might be returning back.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen, but I think they'll just have to weather this one and take the opportunity to take their chances when they will come by them, because the truth is, these chances will be far and few and in between. So whenever they have a chance to get a result against the side, they should just take those chances together.
All right, let's move on to this next one. This next game is about your club, Arsenal versus Wolves.
Arsenal,
It ended 2
okay,
0 in
Arsenal,
favor of Arsenal.
yeah,
Talk to me.
and it's 2-0, and for the composed performance, I think Wolves actually did prove a bit of a challenge,
Yeah,
especially when it got towards the second half. I think yeah, they actually came out. I personally, I said it last time. I don't think when someone mentioned that Gary O'Neill might be sacked, I said personally, if you ask me, I think he's doing a good job. I don't see Wolves letting him go, because the
mm,
truth is, with what he has the potential to actually stake a claim in keeping their Premier League status. And I definitely know that that is his major target at the moment, keeping the Premier League status of Wolverhampton Wanderers. Um, Arsenal, well, solid performance as usual from the
yeah,
defense. Midfield was compact and intact. Martinelli had one day that I think he will want to just look back and just tell himself he can actually do better, because I feel um, he was actually he was a bit managed on that left hand side of the midfield. The Parasaka, you begin to wonder what is it that this young man cannot create. Despite the fact that it was a weekend whereby we actually saw in some major leagues whereby the players who went for international tournaments were looking a bit lethargic and a bit leggy. Bukayo Saka, as usual, gave 100% performance, and you could actually see the results. An assist for Kai Havertz and a goal. And Kai Havertz looks like a player who has been reborn ever since he actually joined the Arsenal because he's scoring. He is scoring. And despite the fact that people might want to say, what position exactly is he playing?
Is it
The
playing?
major
Yeah.
thing is you expect a four player to at least give you the goals when he can, and he is doing it. And I think then maybe yes, this should have been one move that should have happened rather than the one that he just left, basically. But I think a standing performance. I think from the report we are hearing today from the British media, we heard that I think the deal for Mr. Marino is basically almost 100% complete. I think it's just a case of announcements which might happen in the next 24 to 48 hours. So I guess yes, Arsenal has got another person in midfield, and I think the next target for them now should be attack, because no matter how much you might want to put it, you just need to have a player who somehow can know his way to exporting the ball into the net. Definitely. And I think if they get that, then yes, they will challenge City all the way to the title.
All right, let's hope so. Moving on to this one quickly. Everton were down over the weekend where Brighton beat them silly 3-0. I think they had a red card in that game. No, what?
Yeah, after Young got a red card. Yeah. But the damage had already been done even before the red card. I was following that game on X and I was seeing some tweets from Everton fans, and someone said, we knew you were going to be bad defensively, but it shouldn't have been as bad as that. Everton had, I personally feel like in Everton's case, it's a case of there is a problem. The problem is widespread, starting from the management, which obviously, as we can see now, no one is there. And this definitely is going to lead to a point deduction. You already know you're going to face a possible case of a point deduction. The one thing you should not even do is to start the league campaign with a defeat.
With a defeat.
That's just it. Brighton used a whole lot of youngsters in that game, and you could see the results. They outpassed Everton in every aspect of that game. Defensively, they were astute. Midfield, they had the place on lock. In attack, I think Everton need to start looking at another alternative, because it looks as if they have a living experiment. It looks as if they have a living situation. It's not looking promising, because this is a player that we knew had the potential, but it seems injury and lack of playing time, basically due to these injuries, has led to a loss of form. And we basically are just hoping that he finally gets a chance to finally put those demons aside. But my major worry now is this: if he picks up another injury, are we starting the whole process all over again? That's my concern. Brighton, new manager, still Brighton. Possession play, all-out attack, creating chances, and with the return of Kaori Mitoma, you know that definitely you have someone who is well versed in the art of dribbling, not only in the skill on the pitch of play, but also academically. I think most people do not realize that actually he has a master's degree in sports, basically, and his thesis topic was the art of dribbling. So definitely, when you see Mitoma take you one-on-one, you know that he didn't just know how to play it; he actually studied it. So definitely, you need to do way better to actually hold him down. But I think Brighton they have the potential to actually challenge for an European place this season. I think last season they dropped in form under the Zerbi. They've actually sat back over the course of the season to actually look at it and say, you know what, we have the potential to do it. We were in Europe last season. Who says we cannot go again next season? I think the gameplay was okay. I would say yes, big up to Brighton, and I'll say for Everton, there's a lot of work to do. And the truth is, if Everton cannot actually sort out these issues in the first 10 to 12 weeks, they will be sucked into the relegation dogfight. And this time, there will be no way out.
No way out. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. All right, moving on to this game, West Ham Aston Villa. It ended 2-1 in favor of Aston Villa. I actually predicted West Ham to win this game, but it
Oh,
looks like they're still not, the coordination is still not there, So what's your take on this?
I think at this game, I was calling this game to someone and I said, this game I see both teams scoring. And in all honesty, I wasn't disappointed on that account. West Ham gave a good account of themselves in this game. You could see the whole enterprise that Michael Antonio actually presents to the team. He was, as usual, a brilliant in attack, giving the Aston Villa defenders a whole lot of challenges. I think John Duran, you know what's very interesting about the whole game is the fact that
Yeah, tell me.
a few weeks ago, if West Ham had decided to actually push that button, John Duran would have been a West Ham player playing for
Oh
West
yeah,
Ham against his former club side.
it's from our club
But
side.
they didn't do it and they went ahead to get Nicholas Fulkrug and maybe John Duran actually was able to convince Emery that maybe he needs to be given a chance and they saw the performance because he was brought in when they took off Watkins because Watkins was off color. And when they brought him in, he actually justified the fact that he was brought into the game because he was a thorn in the flesh of the West Ham defenders. And when he finally got his chance to actually score the game. I feel West Ham is early days, but Totegi is a manager who I believe has proven his mettle in Spain.
Yeah,
And I think he's also done that at Wolves as well. So he was meant to do it at Wolves before he finally terminated his contract just before the season started last season. So I think I'm actually expecting great things from him.
hmm.
You could see Guido Rodriguez in midfield. You could see his impact. Mohamed Kudus, as usual, a fantastic player. He was taking those guys seriously down the flanks. Um, you see the enterprise that Kilman has brought to that West Ham defense. There's a bit more stability in that defense line for West Ham. It's
Yeah,
even better compared to what we saw last season. As for Villa, Emery, big up
hmm,
to him, the
hmm.
master tactician. I think he is preparing himself for what will happen this season. He's got the Champions League to also consider as well too. In addition to other core competitions, so unlike whereby last season you're just doing your basic domestic core competitions, now you have the Champions League. You know that yes, you will need to do a lot of chopping and screwing to actually have your perfect team set up for the
Yeah,
task. Well, next up for him is a team that definitely is coming out for their own pound of flesh. And I think he knows that he was able to get away with 6 points last season. This team is not ready to let him even get one this season because they have the target. I'm actually looking forward to that game next week. Aston Villa against Arsenal. And I want to see how he's going to square up because definitely Emery is hosting Arsenal. And this time, Arsenal definitely want to prove that yes, what happened last season was just at our lowest point. This time, we're coming out for the results. So I'm looking forward to that game. So it's going to definitely be a crack, and I think it's already a contender for the game of the week for next week. Yeah.
all right, Jeffers, let's talk about this game, Forest versus Bournemouth. The game ended 1-1. What's your take in that one?
Well, it was one of the games we actually thought that was going to be a tough one, and it did disappoint. Um, Bournemouth are going to find it hard to adjust to life without Dominic Solanke. I think
Sure,
he's been
okay.
able to carry this club so far, and
Hmm,
now the
hmm.
change in command. So although with Evan Nilsson, I think they have a striker who has the potential to actually light the Premier League. We've seen his exploits at FC Porto, and we know that definitely when it comes to delivering the goods, he's one person who we can see that has the ability to do that. I think both sides came into this game to try and size themselves out, and definitely we saw that actually happen. Chris Wood, well, one thing is this: Chris Wood, when he wants to score, he will score when the
Yeah.
chances come. Although I still remember that game against Man City last season and all those misses, and I was wondering if only you could have put one of them in. We would not be having this
You will not be
discussion.
happy.
We would not be having that discussion about Man City winning the title. exactly. But anyway,
Hmm.
I think he's been proven that yes, even though Awoni is almost back to 100%, he couldn't play over the weekend. I think he played a cameo role over the weekend. That was what tarnished my FPL team anyway. I put him there and I got just
We are still
one
coming there.
point
Don't
for his
worry.
endeavors.
I
But
meant for my
I think
FPL.
this is a game that both sides, well, both sides were able to size each other up. When Nottingham went ahead, it was looking as if they were going to get the win because remember their head to head. Nottingham are actually yet to lose to Bournemouth at their home, basically. That's the fact that they have had 2 wins and 2 draws. Now, with this result, it's now 3 draws, and I think Bournemouth will definitely want to like see if they can actually make it finally a success at the sixth try when they meet in the reverse fixture this season.
Hmm.
Well,
All
overall,
right.
it was a good game.
All right. Moving on to this one as well. That's Newcastle beating Southampton 1-0.
I think this one was a game where,
You
we've always said one thing
you
about
always
Eddie
said.
Howe, and that's the fact that his defensive setup,
Hmm.
with the absence of Nick Pope last season, Newcastle suffered defensively. But now that he's back, we're seeing a semblance of what he was able to set up last season. That game, the scoreline doesn't actually tell the fact that Newcastle basically played this game for almost 60 minutes with 10 men.
10 men, yes.
They got a red card very early
Red
in
card
that game.
in that
Fabian
game, yeah.
Starr, for what I would term as a very stupid and irrational behavior.
Behavior,
You were going
absolutely.
on it with this player. There was no reason for you to actually confront him with a headbutt. I know one thing about confrontations like this. Footballers they always look it for what it was. I feel it wasn't that harsh on Burton Diaz, but he saw the advantage, saw the opportunity, and boy, the sharp fought for it and he took it. And at the end of the day, that goal was just enough to actually get them through. I think Russell Martin is actually proving that yes, the Southampton side has
They play well.
something to
They
actually
fix
prove
well.
in the
Yeah.
league this season. They played very, very well. I was actually surprised that if it was a case whereby they took more judicious use of their chances in that game, they would have
Yeah.
actually gotten a point
A
because
point. Yeah.
they had chances. They had chances. Newcastle were doing all they could, but they finally had to break that around the first. I think it was when I was looking at snippets of the game, when I realized the fact that I had
Hmm.
already forgotten that Joe Aribo was actually still in Southampton. I had already
Southampton.
forgotten
Oh,
completely.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
Still there.
was it was a master performance in midfield from him. I think this is one guy that ah we really didn't utilize him in the last Nations Cup, and I feel maybe we would have tried. But anyway, we've moved on. Let's look at what's coming up next. But I think on Southampton, well, in his early days, I don't think we can judge anything. We just say the automatic contenders for the drop zone. It's still very, very early. Although one thing I'm already saying, I can tell you basically, as far as I'm concerned, there are just 19 teams in the Premier League this season. One person is going down. I'm
Hmm.
not pushing it yet. But
Oh,
strong performance from both sides, although at the end of the day, it was Newcastle that had the 2 points.
yeah. Beautiful. All right. Moving on to this one. Brentford versus Crystal Palace. Brentford. Mbueno scored a fantastic goal calling from from the right, and he scored a very
Yeah,
good goal. Yeah. So
very,
what's
very
your
good goal, definitely. When this game started, my thought was okay. I think Palace might actually nick this one, and no surprises when they went ahead. I think if you notice one thing, there was also an incident that happened in that particular game. The Eze free kick. The
that's what
Eze free kick that went in.
well, that was a goal now.
The free kick that went in.
Man.
Yes, it was a goal. But the problem was this.
The referee was only
People didn't
focusing
realize
on
the fact that while the ball was already in flight, a foul had already taken place
taking
in the
place.
18, and that was when the referee blew the whistle. If the referee had blown the whistle before that free kick or after that free kick had gone in, it would have counted. But they had already blown the whistle before, while the
Before.
ball was in motion. That was what made him roll it off. So definitely, you won't blame him. It was actually a foul. It was a very, very blatant foul. So I felt like fouls were hard done, but guys, it's not my fault. You know the rules of the game. If it's
Yeah.
a foul, it's a foul, basically. I think when they finally scored, because they're looking like, okay, maybe the demons of Brentford from last season was going
Mm.
to actually continue this season. But I think Brentford are actually trying to prove that they can somehow find a way to survive without Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney couldn't make the squad list that game because of the fact that there's still some uncertainty concerning his future. There's a potential that he might actually move before the transfer window closes. So Thomas Frank didn't want to actually have something that will actually destabilize the strategy for the season. It's such a shame that the striker who was brought in as a potential replacement, which was Thiago, already got injured in pre-season and might be out for about 4 months. So I think they will definitely have to go into the market for other stuff. But with Buemo and Visa, I think I see players who are not only proving that yes, they can actually dictate whatever they want to dictate for the side, but also they are also match winners on their day. And I think that was what they actually proved against Crystal Palace. Palace, we knew the combination we had with Olise and
Listen,
Eze
Eze.
in that team. And now
Yeah,
that
I think they're missing the
Olise has
guy.
left,
They're gonna miss this
they are
guy.
missing Olise definitely. They are missing
Absolutely.
Olise definitely. I think Hamada has big shoes to fill, and I've been following his exploits in the Bundesliga. And I
Mm.
think, yes, he's a fantastic player, but we need to understand the Bundesliga and the Premier League are two different leagues. There's a pattern of play that both sides come with. So definitely, he has some work that we convince the Palace faithful that yes, he's a massive important. Mateta, I think the Olympic Games, the exertion actually got to him because let's face it, the games just ended a week ago. He didn't partake in the season, so it
Mm.
was actually showing in his performance. But I think he will definitely pick up and will always deliver when it comes. So I'll say fantastic result for Brentford and as for Palace. Well, better luck next time.
All right. All right. Moving on to this. The next game, the big game over the weekend, which I see there, Chelsea 0 and Man City 2. It's a good game. I don't want to fault Chelsea in this game. They
Nah,
played well, but it's just the goal scoring. I'm
you can't
here.
fault them. You can't fault them.
Yeah.
Honestly,
They
you
play.
cannot fault them.
No, they
They
surprised
gave
me.
a good account for themselves. Yes, they gave a good
Absolutely.
account for
So
themselves.
I'm having here in the studio right now, Prof. You are
Yeah,
joining us. What's your take on this game?
yeah. Thank you.
What's your
I
game?
had
What's your
to, I had to take a break to join the show. So, the game was a very, like you said. I'm happy you said it. I'm happy you said that it was. Chelsea gave their all. They did. I think for me, they performed better than expectation, better than what I expected. Let's not forget that they have a new manager in Enzo Maresca, who has just only been through the door in about 3 weeks. And he has been flying all over in the states. He has had very little amount of games to imprint to really put his imprint on the team. And so this game was always going to be very difficult, for me, playing the best team as far as I'm concerned in the world,
in
and
the
the
world?
greatest ever manager in your first game, in your very first match your very first Premier League game as a manager. I don't know what a lot of people expected. I've been getting a lot of backlash, and I see that most people
Especially
who
considering the fact that he was your boss.
it was your
Yeah.
Just to see
exactly.
him in the
It was your boss. He has been in
You
the he
don't
has
get
been
that
in
kind
the
of result against your boss at the first try.
exactly. You're playing against your boss as the first game. He who has been in the league for 9 years, seasoned manager with world class players like De Bruyne, with Haaland, with Bernardo. So I really don't know what people expected. But Chelsea gave
Hmm.
up a good fight.
I'm
Like I wanted to
serious.
say,
I'm
most
serious.
of the backlash I've been getting as a Chelsea fan is from Arsenal fans, and I can see why they are doing that because let's not forget they want every opportunity they want. They want City to drop points. No, honestly, I can see through them because I've been watching a lot of podcasts and I'm seeing Arsenal fans. They feel, oh, any opportunity for Man City to lose points. But don't let me deviate. Back to Chelsea. Good performances from the likes of Romeo Lavia, who missed last season through injury. I think he did well. Um,
Fantastic.
Yeah, he did well. Palmer was a little bit lost because for me, it was put on the wing and he had to do a lot of tracking back. When you play on the wing, you have defensive responsibilities to track back. And who was he tracking? He had to track. At first, he was tracking Doku.
Doku.
And then later he had to track. At first, he was tracking Savio and then Doku because he played the switch with the wingers. So he is more potent in the number 10 role, just behind the striker. I think he played a position. He was supposed to play the position where Enzo Fernandez played. That for me was a mistake by Maresca. I hope he's learned from it. Enzo Fernandez cannot play the AMF while Palmer is pushed to the wing. I think he has to drop Enzo Fernandez to the middle. I don't think we can go with the three midfielders. I know they are very expensive, about 250 million. I'm talking about Caicedo, Enzo, and Lavia. They cost over 250 million, but you cannot be over obsessed with that amount and say three of them must start. I think you have to start two of them and then put in Palmer in his position. Yeah, Gusto was okay. Pedro Neto came off the bench. I didn't really, and then the substitutions for Maresca for me were very faulty as well. I don't think Neto did a lot. I don't think Dewsbury Hall, especially, was needed in that game. I think he should have taken Enzo off, put Palmer, then bringing in natural winger, maybe a Madueke or a Modric to come and threaten them. But other than that, Nicola Jackson again, missed a couple of not clear-cut chances, but half chances, which you would expect a world-class striker to finish. I think if Alan got maybe one of those chances, he would have taken them. So for me, you can still see little things that Chelsea need to do better. I think we'll get a clearer picture of them when they play Wolves in the next game. I think we cannot judge with Man City. They are clearly streets ahead of Chelsea. We can't judge with them. So I think they should just take the positives from that, and then we'll go to Wolves and see what Chelsea can do better. And Man City, they didn't have to go. For me, they didn't go past the second gear. They played in the second gear and they got the 2-0 win. But these people are not going to relent at all. They are not showing signs of relenting. I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm scared about what I saw against Chelsea in Stamford Bridge.
All right, Jeffers, what's your take on this game? Quick one.
I think first of all, I think I would say when it comes to the banter with Arsenal, please realize that it's mutual banter. You beat us, we beat you. No offense. Sorry. As for me, I would say I have some observations that I think I want to point out to some Chelsea fans because when I want to talk, I like to always make people understand the fact that first of all, I'm a football fan, then I'm an Arsenal fan. With football, I support it 100%. I feel like the problem Chelsea has been having with strikers, it's not the strikers' fault. And I think it is one aspect that it hasn't been observed, but have you realized the fact that ever since Eden Hazard left Chelsea, there's been no creativity in them. And that is where the major boom of issues are. There's no creativity in them. Palmer, Palmer has had one season, and from what I've seen with Palmer is just going to do the best he can do. But you need someone who will create that final touch for the attacker to finish. I see Jackson as someone just like Darwin Núñez.
Yeah.
They will get chances and they will miss chances. It's going to happen. They will miss chances. These are the kind of strikers that you will give 10 chances, they will miss 7. Those 3 they will get. They will find a way to put those 3 in, but they will miss more chances than they will score. In that scenario, if you have a Palmer playing as an 8 behind him, you know that yes, when Palmer gets his chances, he will score. But the thing is, you need a 10 who has that vision to always find a way to create those passes that will get in between the defense line. There's a particular point I want to put in that particular game. I think, like when we saw Haaland's goal, Haaland basically had only 3 touches in almost the whole game. One of them was a goal. He had already known that when he was coming to power, he was already being overshadowed by the defender. What happened? The keeper had already gone down. He went low and he went back to where the keeper was coming from to actually ding that ball over the keeper into the net. That is exactly what a striker's instinct is. I haven't seen that in Jackson. I think my problem with Jackson is Jackson touches the ball way too much. Wow. There are some chances whereby you have one chance, one attempt. You don't need to touch it an extra possession for you to actually beat the defender. You can take it from there. You don't need to touch it too much just to create a clearer space. Sometimes you can't get a first space. It's a little opportunity you get and you put it in. As for Chelsea yesterday, I think they gave a good statement. The performance was great. We obviously know that yes, City is a side that definitely, when you're going against City, the odds are always stacked against you. But they gave a good account of themselves yesterday. Kukurela, whoa, he actually performed. I think although one thing about a battle is this, there are sometimes where you have battle stars, and I think that injury he got, I think it put a damp on his performance. But he actually gave as good as he could get. For Chelsea's second goal, I think I'm actually surprised that they actually allowed that goal to go in because we know Kovacic. Kovacic has just one chance. He's looking for an opportunity to shoot. When he got that ball, I was watching Saicedo. And when I saw that Saicedo moved away from him, I just told the guy beside me, I said, this guy is going to score. And honestly, it just went once, twice. He even had the time to actually reposition himself before he took that shot. He had the time to reposition. That kind of player, you know he's coming. What you do, you close him off. You don't give him that kind of chance. I think Maresca has work to do. Another thing that I feel maybe he might have gone under the water, but I think we might want to say that there's every likability that Sterling is not in Enzo Maresca's plans for the season because
yes, that's one of the questions I want to ask. That's one of the questions I want to ask.
I expected to see Sterling. We know what Sterling would bring to that Chelsea attack. The flank play. For now, I do not, apart from possibly Kopama, I don't see anyone doing a better job than him on that flank. This was a game where you needed him.
Yeah, let's ask Prof about selling. I mean, it's not in the plan of Enzo right now. I mean, what's your take on this?
Yeah, the pressman asked Maresca, what he thought about Sterling and why he was absent from the match, but it was a very strange one. I personally thought Sterling would start the game from left hand side. I think he always performs against Man City, and he's one of the very most dangerous wingers from the left hand side. But apparently, let's not forget that Maresca, the reason why Pochettino left this football club was because he had issues with the board. The board have a certain plan how they want to operate, and Pochettino wasn't having it. He didn't want Gallagher to leave. He didn't want Chalobah to leave, and they wanted both of them to be sold to balance the books and change the structure of how they want to operate. And it wasn't having any, walked away. So Maresca has come in. No, I don't want to call him a yes man because it's a derogatory word to use, but I think Maresca has come in as somebody who will want to work with whatever the club says he should work with, sporting director. So they have clearly said, I think they've clearly said that Sterling is not. First of all, the wages of Raheem Sterling is too much. Raheem Sterling is, I think, his highest paid player in the club, and they don't. That was one of the first mistakes that the Todd Boehly made when Todd Boehly was the sporting director. When he made himself the sporting director and kept signing, Koulibaly, Aubameyang, giving them high wages. Now they've gone away from that, and now I think we currently have the lowest wage structure among the biggest teams in the world right now. They brought the wages very, very low. So Raheem Sterling is still one of those people who is still altering that structure, and so they want him out. That's what they want, and I think they would sell him. I think now the latest I heard on it is Raheem Sterling is already assessing his options, and I think he's opening to talking to different clubs, but he will not leave unless he finds a suitable club who is willing to pay almost as much as he earns in Chelsea. If not, I think he might contract out, but we'll see how that one goes. The latest news that Chelsea has signed, or they're about to sign, Joao Felix.
Joao Felix.
Yeah, he has agreed to come, and so I think about 30-something million. He signed almost. He would sign a 5 6 years deal.
It's actually a 6 year plus an option for an extra 12 months.
Yeah, option for an extra year. So I mean, I don't know what the plan of Felix is. I see Felix as almost like a number 10. I see Nkunku as a number 10. I see Palmer as a number 10. All three of them, I've seen them as a free role player. So I don't know why. So we have 3 number 10s because he's not an out-and-out striker. You cannot rely on Felix to score the goals. We still need to go out and get the proper number 9. So what the plan is with Felix, I'm not so sure, but we'll see.
All right, that will take us to this hit or miss.